everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with another build video. This time is going to be the Morrowind modification for the Magicka Nightblade ganking build that I have on my YouTube channel. This build I'm going to dub the Tax Collector because this is what we're going to use to go into Imperial City to collect Telvar stones off of people. They're in Imperial City, they're farming stones, they're trying to get their gear, but they have to pay the tax. That's you with this setup. So you go in and you're essentially farming the farmers with this setup. This is going to be a modification to the previous build. The layout's the same if you watch that. The gear is different. So with all that being said, let's dive into the gear, let's dive into the potions, champion points, everything. We are running 5 Clever Alchemists on the back bar. We're running all Divines with the setup if we can. I do not have all Divines right now. I'm missing 2. So I am personally running 5 Divines, but ideally 7 Divines is best. We're running Heavy Chest, Medium Legs, and then 5 Light. We want the Light passives all because we're going to be utilizing... we want to maximize our damage. Light maximizes our damage. Divines will maximize our damage with the Shadow Mundus. Clever Alchemist... works on the back bar, pop potion on your back bar, you go to your front bar, and then you still get this 638 weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds. That's why we're running it. Our other set we're running 5 Night Slayer instead of 5 Elegant. The reason we're running Night Slayer, and I tested this, the reason we're running Night Slayer is it's better. I tested this against a buddy multiple times. 5-piece Night Slayer versus 5-piece Elegant, maximize our heavy attack or get the 9% Oblivion damage. And even against a 20k health target, where you're only getting 1800, roughly 1800 Oblivion damage for the 5-piece, that's better than that 20% heavy attack that I found. Because also on top of that, we can then run this Oblivion damage enchant with it. So if they have 20,000 health, you're doing about 1,800 with Oblivion damage for the fully charged heavy attack. We're also doing 2174 Oblivion damage for the enchant. Both of these go through shields because it's Oblivion damage. This is what it will hit for. So if they're at 20,000 health, you're going to hit 4,000 Oblivion damage with this setup. And it's going to be really hard for you to come up with a set like Elegant. What do you want, 4,000 Oblivion damage? Or is Elegant going to somehow give you 20% more on your heavy attacks? Now, Elegant is still good. It could potentially be just as good or better if you have a sharpened Elegant Inferno Staff. I do not have that. And I do not want to go out and farm it or invest in the gold and the rosin to find out that it's marginally better, or I think it might. I think they're about the same. So without testing that setup, I can't say definitively, but this works very well. Yeah, so that's why we're running the Night Slayer Inferno Staff. You get this set from Battlegrounds. If you play Battlegrounds, you get the Night Slayer gear. Hold on to it, try and get a Divine body piece, and then on top of it, you go to Morrowind, and they have a Battleground Merchant, and you can invest AP into getting this staff. This staff is actually pretty easy to get. I think it cost me 300k AP. It seems like the drop rates for weapons for Battleground gear is pretty good. I know my buddy got this same staff with like 200k AP. So yeah, it shouldn't be super expensive. It should be pretty easy to get, and it's a good set for this build. So since we're running 4 body, we have 3 Jewelry Night Slayer, all spell damage. We have 1 body Night Slayer, and then we have the Inferno Staff on the front bar for our 5-piece. That gives us room for 2 pieces. So the Head and Shoulders, we're running a monster set. We were running 1-piece Kina, preferably in Divines. I do not have that. That's light. And then we were running 1 Alambris. It doesn't have to be Alambris. It can be Grotdar. It can be Infernal Guardian. Either one of the Max Magicka sets. Kina is the best one. Kina will give you more damage. You want to run Kina. And then whatever the Max Magicka other one is that you have in Divines and Light will be good. So you can flip-flop these, whatever. It doesn't matter. But this will maximize our damage. I don't think that there's a good, that good of a monster set out there for this type of setup. So we're not running a monster set. We're just running the 2 1-pieces. As far as skills go, On our front bar, Impale, this is our execute. When they get to low health, this is what we're going to kill them with. We're running Flame Reach or Flame Touch. This is going to be our range CC. We're going to hit with our heavy attack. We're going to hit with our Swallow Soul. We're going to Flame Reach. We're going to either execute or we're going to Soul Assault. That's going to knock them down and put a small dot on them. Kind of keeps them off of us so we can get into stealth if all of a sudden we mess up. You're a ganker. Everybody messes up as a ganker. Don't worry about it. It also is there to use Ancient Knowledge, which gives us 8% more damage on our staff attacks with our fire attacks, so we're stacking into damage there. It's a very useful skill. Shadowy Disguise. This guarantees a crit. 3 seconds. Your next attack within 3 seconds will always be a critical strike. Since we're a Nightblade, we get 10% more crit damage. Since we're a ganker, we can utilize the Shadow Mundus with Divines to really stack in there, and we can guarantee a crit with Shadowy Disguise. Within 3 seconds, we know our next attack is going to be a crit, so our heavy attack, we can always make crit with the setup. That's why we're stacking the Shadow Mundus. That's why we're running Divines. That'll maximize their damage. Inner Light, you have to have Mage's Guild 10 to utilize this to its full potential. It gives you max magic, which is good. With Mage's Guild 10, it gives you another 2%, which is good. On top of that, it gives you spell crit, which is also good. It removes stealth and invisible enemies around you for 6 seconds, which is good. And then the best part is when you activate this skill, it grants you Empower. And so your next attack is going to hit 20% harder. So we can guarantee that our heavy attack is going to be a crit. We can guarantee we hit 20% harder. We can pop a potion. It all goes together. We're going to hit very hard. Swallow Soul, this is our spammable DPS. It heals you, does good damage. It's cheap. We're not running a lot of magic or recovery. So yeah, we're going to run this. And then finally, our ultimate, we're running Soul Assault. Soul Assault's the best ultimate for this. It's super cheap. Super cheap to get. You're going to hit with heavy attack. You're going to hit with your Swallow Soul. You're also going to Flame Reach the guy, knock him on the ground. If they're not in execute range, you Soul Assault them. If they are in execute range, you just execute them. But there's not too many builds out there that can survive heavy attack, Swallow Soul, and then Soul Assault. They have to be on their bars, and they have to be ready to come up blocking and healing in order to survive this setup. And if they don't do that for a half second, they're dead. That's all it takes. Or they need to have a ton of health. Back bar. This is going to be our oh shit ultimate. This is Life Giver. All of a sudden we get revealed from stealth. They find us. They pop a detect bot. We drop our shadow image. We pop this. We run away from our shadow image. They're chasing us. They're trying to kill us. They can't kill us for 5 seconds. We shadow image back. We crouch. We stealth. We get out of the fight. This setup can't really fight toe-to-toe with just about anybody. We're a ganker. You have to utilize stealth well with this setup. Siphoning attacks is going to be our main sustain. We're going to get our major sorcery from potions. Shadow image, as I said before, this is going to be our way we get out. Double take. I'm using double take for the movement speed. Since we're a vampire, we ignore movement speed penalties while we're crouched, so we walk around like we're normal. We're a vampire, obviously. And then we get major expedition with this. So this allows us, like let's say hypothetically we want to kill Karzolga over there, and we're trying to set up. This allows us to get over here faster, to line up our attacks so that we can take them out. Merciless Resolve. This also needs to be on your bar. 8% more damage for 20 seconds. So stacking more damage. We're not going to use the Merciless Resolve too much, or the Spectral Bow too much. So that's why it's on the back bar. Everything else on the front bar is kind of a must. I think you need Cloak, you need Mage Light, you need your Flame Reach, because that's where the Destro Staff is. You need your Execute, you need your Swallow Soul. So we're putting this back here. We're not going to use a whole lot for killing people, because it's not needed. Healing Ward, this is our heal. As far as potions go, we're either running Spell Power Potions, if you want to be lazy. You can use the Alliance Potions. Those are very cheap, very easy to get. That's all you need them for. Or you can craft them. It's 2 ingredients. But the best ones you can run are these. Increase your stealth detection by 20 meters for 15.7 seconds. gives you your major sorcery, and then it restores magicka. So if you're not sure how many people are there when you're trying to gank somebody, you pop this potion. It'll reveal anybody stealthed, so you can either decide to take them out, or you can realign yourself to find somebody squishier that might be hiding from you. So very good potion to have for this. We're running Potent Witchmother's Brew. You don't have to run Potent Witchmothers. You can run the dual stat food, max health and max magicka. That'll give you more damage, but it's not so much more damage that I feel like I need to run it, and I like the 319 magicka recovery. It allows me to realign myself in fights. Sometimes people are killing bosses and they're running to the next door, and you go to attack somebody and they jump in the group, and then all of a sudden you have to turn around and you have to resituate yourself to take out your target. So this allows you, it gives you more survivability by being able to cloak more, by being able to spam shields more, attack a little bit more. You do sacrifice some damage, but I think it's worth it overall for the setup. As far as champion points goes, we are running 50 into Warlord, 60 into Arcanist, 10 into Tenacity. This is already wrong. We are going to take this out right now. You do not want 10 into Shadow Ward or 50 into Shadow Ward for this. This was a mistake. Don't do this. We're going to put 40 into Shade right here. Reduce the cost of Sneak. That's very useful for this because we are stealthing around, and then we want to put points into. We want to put a few points into Tumbling. There we go. Arcanist, Tenacity. You can put a few more into Tenacity if you want. We're going to put a few more into Warlord just because, we will get CC'd occasionally, and reducing the cost of break free since we have a low stamina pool will come in handy. 60 Elemental Expert. They are diminishing returns with the CP tree now. Once you get over 50, you start losing the point for point value. So you can put more into this, but with how we're attacking, we're going to stack into other things to get a bigger percentage. So we're running 60 here, 5 into Spell Erosion, 55 into Elfborn, increase our critical damage. We can guarantee a crit, so we want to stack into that. 50 into Staff Expert, so this increases our heavy attacks by 26%. And then Master at Arms, increase your damage done with direct damage attacks by 16%. So our heavy attacks, our Swallow Soul, like all that is buffed. So we're double dipping here to try and make up for the loss in damage that I did with heavy attacks and with the crit damage bonus. So nothing here. 30 into Resistant, 25 in Ironclad, 55 Hardy, 55 Elemental Defender, 15 Thick-Skinned, and 30 Expert Defender. These are more or less subject to change. I'm not the best, CP tree guy, so take it for what it's worth. But that works. As far as our best race, Dark Elf is the best race. They get the most damage from fire damage. We're using Destro Staff. Destro Staffs, Fire Staffs give you the most damage in general, so you want to make sure you're running a Fire Staff. Dark Elf works best for this. You can run High Elf, you can run Breton, but you're not going to hit as hard. Wait for it. Alright, so if we pop a potion, our stats look like this. We have 40,000 magicka, 1,500 magicka recovery, 3668 spell damage, 25k health, 10k stam, 43.9% spell crit. That doesn't really matter because we can guarantee a crit from stealth. We're running the Shadow Mundus. We're trying to maximize the amount of damage we give with the one attack. 64 points into magicka. I think that's about it. So I went over the gear, I went over the skills, I went over the CP, I went over the potions. As far as like a quick tutorial on how ganking goes, let's say this guy right here is our target, and we know he has a lot of stones. We want to buff up, we want to hit our Merciless, or we want to pop our Merciless Resolve. We want to pop our Siphoning attacks just so we have the return. We're going to get situated, make sure we're behind him. We're going to pop our potion to give us our major sorcery and our Clever Alchemist. We're going to pop our Mage Light. We're going to cloak, and then we're going to do a full heavy attack. After we do the full heavy attack, and it has to be a full heavy attack with Night Slayer. If you don't hold the trigger down and let the Destro Staff release on its own, you will not get the Night Slayer proc. So just remember that. If you empower and then you cloak and then you do this, it will be a guaranteed crit. Your heavy attack will hit, your Night Slayer will hit, your Oblivion damage will hit, and then you, depending on health, you either hit with a Swallow Soul, or you hit with your Impale, or you go heavy attack, Swallow Soul, Flame Reach, knock them down, Soul Assault, and Impale, or Flame Reach, Impale. So those are going to kind of be your combos. If it's in a large group of people, what I like to do is, let's say it's the same guy we're trying to attack. We want to make sure we're behind him. We're going to drop our shadow image somewhere where they can't see it. Oh, cool, it actually drops. And then we're going to come over here. And then this is where we're going to try and heavy attack him. We're going to pop our potion. We're going to do our full thing, fully charged heavy attack. We're going to hit them. If all of a sudden they see us, we can then shadow image back to this, and then we can get out. We can get behind this thing. We killed a guy. Now we have stones, and now they don't know where we are, and we're gone. So that's going to be the quick tutorial on how to gank. You have to have a lot of patience with ganking. It's not the easiest thing in the world. They definitely nerfed ganking from the last patch, so it's not nearly as easy. This is still very, very effective. It's very good in taking people out. The other quick little tip I can give you, get your hands on some trash stamina pots, because what trash stamina pots do is when you pop a potion, this is this cool little Nightblade passive that we have. After drinking a potion, you gain 20 ultimate. So if you're running around, you're trying to find people, and you haven't seen anybody yet, pop these potions so you can make sure you get your Soul Assault up to full level. So you can kind of guarantee that every time you fight, you have a Soul Assault if you need it. You have to be patient, like I said, when you're ganking. You have to know your outs. You have to know, like, if you're going to drop a shadow image on somebody, you have to be in a spot. You have to be in a spot to where, like, they're not really going to see it super easily, and they're not going to know you're there. So shadow image is kind of tricky that way. Picking out targets is kind of tricky. Look for guys with low health. Look for guys that aren't being diligent with their wards. You don't really want to try. You want to try to avoid tanky Templars unless you catch them off guard for a split second. Like, they're with Breath of Life, with block casting, they'll be able to survive your burst pretty well if they're on their toes. So that all comes with practice. It all comes with time. With that being said, that's going to be the end of my build video. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy playing this. Get out there and get some stones. Take it easy. Have a nice day.